What is up YouTube? I'm Royal, I'm rank 1 Wild Rift, and today I'm bringing you a slightly different video than my usual videos. Today I'm giving you news about the future of Wild Rift. Wild Rift, the official YouTube channel, had their 5th anniversary live stream, and they answered a lot of the questions that we've been interested in. So in this video I'm going to cover 2 upcoming champions. Well, actually, I think at this point we know 4 upcoming champions, which is very, very exciting, but obviously these are not confirmed. So I'm going to make very clear what is confirmed and what is rumors and so on. And one of them will be a Wild Rift exclusive champion, meaning that they're not in League of Legends. Usually every champion that gets released in Wild Rift gets ported over from League of Legends, but this is a new Wild Rift champion that will not be in League of Legends. I'm also going to be talking about the matchmaking. We had some updates on Riot's thoughts and plans with matchmaking. I'm going to talk about esports, and they had a question about esports and they touched on that. The console release that we've all been kind of hyped about over the last 5 years, right? And all chat, the return of all chat. So let's start off with the newest champion. So this is Nora. And obviously this is still just a rumor, but it is very, very likely. And let me explain to you guys why it's very, very likely. So they mentioned that the champion is going to be a mage, and it's a champion, and they made this point very specific, that is not on the Rift, right? Nora is a playable character in Legends of Runeterra, which is Riot's card game, right? But that's not the Rift, right? She just hasn't appeared in League of Legends. This is her splash art from Legends of Runeterra. You can see Yumi in the background. And what's very, very interesting, right, is if this is the background that they showed during the presentation, right? And if you look in this particular corner, you can see a portal. This is Nora's portals. So Nora is a Yordle from Bandle City, right? And her theme is portal magic and exploration of dimensions. She's connected to Yumi in the lore. Yumi is actually looking for Nora after she disappeared in one of her portals. So I'm not saying that it's confirmed, but it's very, very likely that Nora will be the newest champion. Another point I wanted to make about the champions is that we have very, very strong hints that Cho'Gath will be joining us in the next patch. They did a little bit where they were munching on the cake, and we've gotten a lot of hints about Cho'Gath potentially coming to Wild Rift. So for 7.0, we think it's going to be Nora, Cho'Gath, and Smolder seems to be the most likely other champion. However, there is a champion that I'm extremely excited about, and that's LeBlanc. During the newest music video that you guys can check out, and during the 5th anniversary live stream, we saw LeBlanc's chains holding down Rel, which is lore accurate. But on top of that, the official X account on Wild Rift, after I tweeted out, oh my god, they're bringing LeBlanc into Wild Rift, I'll never complain about matchmaking again if they do this, the official Wild Rift X account replied to me saying we'll hold you to that. Meaning that it's very likely, they're definitely hinting, at least to me they're hinting, that LeBlanc will be coming out. If you guys don't know, in League of Legends, I was a LeBlanc one-trick pony. I only played LeBlanc. I considered myself to be the best LeBlanc in the world at one point. I was having pro-Korean players asking me for LeBlanc advice. I was challenger. I was streaming, being one of the known best LeBlanc players at the time. So I am obviously extremely excited about LeBlanc coming into Wild Rift, or at least the possibility of her. It doesn't seem likely we'll be at 7.0 because they haven't really made clear what champions will be coming out, because usually 3 champions come out, and now we have hints for 4 of them. So I guess we'll kind of see. Obviously I'm hoping for LeBlanc, but it's also amazing to have an exclusive Wild Rift only champion in the Rift. Moving on from the newest champions, let's talk about matchmaking. So we finally had a question about matchmaking, which was, since Galio's Aegis released, I've seen a lot of players with a lot of games and 50% win rate climb to higher ranks. And let's be honest, we've seen less than 50%. We've seen 49, 48, 47. I've even seen some 45% win rate players in Master Tier and above. It feels bad to see sometimes. Are we looking to make any changes? So this is something I've been complaining about personally for a very, very long time. Pretty much the entirety of this year I've been complaining about not just Galio's Aegis, but the ranked Law Shield cards, the Fortitude points, all of these rank inflationary mechanics that make it so you climb by playing a lot of games and not necessarily by playing well, right? And Riot's response was honestly extremely disappointing. This is probably the most disappointed I've been with Riot in a very, very long time. They pretty much said that they weighed the pros and cons, and they think that it's fine for players to be able to climb without improving. It's fine for players to climb just by spamming games. It's fine to just allow players to climb without truly deserving it. And I just want to make a little side note here and say that the issue with this is that this is lowering the quality of your games. I know that you're happy that you're getting Galio's Aegis once in a while, and that's like a good feeling of, oh look, I played well, I didn't deserve to lose that game, so I'm going to get Galio's Aegis. But what you have to understand is that these inflationary mechanics bring a lot of players from lower ranks that don't deserve to be in your rank, and they make it to your rank, right? And then they're your teammates. They're the reason that your games feel lower quality. They're the reason why it feels like you're in a game without equally matched opponents and teammates. Because when there's so many players that have climbed above their skill level, you could be playing in Master Tier, and some players could be deserving Challenger, they just haven't played a lot of games, and some players could be deserving Emerald, and they just spammed a bunch of games. And the enemy team can have the Master Tier, and you can have the Emerald, and you can get destroyed, and that's not gonna be a fun experience. And that's what Riot doesn't seem to realize. Anyway, they pretty much said that they're okay with all of this, as long as the players get the warm little feeling in their hearts of seeing Galio's Aegis loss prevented, because what happens in games like Wild Rift is that when you get a loss, right, you're demotivated and you stop playing. But if you get a loss, right, and a little reward, the little reward in this case being Galio's Aegis, that you didn't lose a mark, that will keep you playing because it's gonna stop the loss from feeling so bad. So the whole reason they're doing this is for it to be engagement-based matchmaking and to keep you playing for longer at the detriment of you having high quality games. And I guess they looked at the numbers and they decided that's the direction they want to go to. Obviously, I'm extremely disappointed. I'm extremely angry. I kind of knew that this was the reality already. They hadn't told us with words, but through their actions, they've shown us that this is the direction they want the game to go. Obviously, this is a first for Riot Games. League of Legends, Teamfight Tactics, and their other titles, even the new fighting game that came out, seem to be highly competitive in nature, but Wild Rift, I guess this is the exception. I'm not sure if that's because mobile gamers are just more easily demotivated, or because they're trying to compete with Mobile Legends and Honor of Kings, who have similarly terrible matchmakings. But that just seems to be the reality of the situation. Not much we can do about it. Obviously, I'm definitely gonna do something about it. You guys know I'm not gonna be okay with this. So I'm definitely gonna be looking into different things that I can do to maybe convince Riot that this is in the right way. Obviously, by me explaining the nature of what they're doing, I'm hoping that a lot of you guys will see Galio's Aegis, Fortitude, ranked loss prevention, and even the mark system for the absolutely disgusting, awful system it truly is, and how it's lowering the quality of your games. That's what I want you to focus on. I want you to realize that yes, you have this good feeling in your heart when you get loss prevented, but I want you to know that that's the reason your games feel low quality and why the matchmaking does not feel good. Anyway, moving on from the matchmaking, let's talk about esports, where we had some pretty expected news. They pretty much said, let me move to my esports slide when we can see the exact question. There we go. Will you bring back the pro scene for Wild Rift esports? Overall, what is next for community play? They pretty much said that the way that esports happened in Wild Rift was not right, which was trying to compete as like this their professional career path, which is pro gaming in Wild Rift. They decided that's what League of Legends is gonna be. And if you're interested in seeing professional Wild Rift, you might as well watch League of Legends. But they did say that they're more interested in community tournaments, right? Which obviously they're not gonna have insane prize pools, and there's not gonna be a crazy amount of competitiveness in that sense, but they're gonna do community tournaments, which is something that I've been pushing for as well. I think that's probably the best way to kind of at least build the roots for esports, right? And what they're planning to do is smaller community tournaments in every region. Right now they're doing a creator tournament in Vietnam next month, where they're bringing creators from Brazil, Southeast Asia, Turkey, and a few other regions. So that's pretty cool. And I think this is probably the way to go for esports. It's just not realistic to bring back what we had. The numbers are just not there to support it. And right, kind of, you can already see that with all these events they're doing for Worlds. They want the Wild Rift community to be engaged in League of Legends esports as the premier esports, and then possibly bring smaller community tournaments. However, on that note, they also talked about will there be more regional or global leagues in the future, in-game comps like Premier and Clash. If you guys don't know, Clash is what I've been begging Riot to do for a long time now, which is in-client tournaments where you play for skins pretty much. So you get grouped with your team in a little bracket. League of Legends already has this. It's an unbelievably fun experience. You pretty much spend like 4 hours in a little tournament and you get rewards based on how well you place on that tournament, which I think is an unbelievably good idea for Wild Rift specifically. And I think these are the types of tournaments that will start kind of building into esports in the long-term future. They pretty much said that this is something they're working on, so that's really, really good to hear. I'm really looking forward to stuff like this. From their tone, it kind of sounded like this is not going to be immediate. This is likely not coming in a few months. This is probably going to be late 2026 if I were to guess at the earliest. But you never know, maybe it will come sooner. This is just my vibes off of the tone of their speaking. They said it sounds like it's going to be in the long run. So that is it for esports. Let's move on to all chat. Can we bring back all chat? Why is it gone? They pretty much said that all chat is gone because not that many people were using it. A very small minority of the community was using it, and they were using it just to flame, just to be toxic. So they decided that it's better to remove it, which I completely understand. I know that a lot of people want all chat back, and let's be honest, the reason why you want all chat back is so you can talk shit to the enemy team. And I think that that's fine, you know, like there's being toxic and bantering, right? If they can figure out how to bring back all chat without it being toxic and being more fun to use, you know, then it can be a good experience for everyone. So they pretty much said that they are working towards bringing all chat back. So it's in their plans that all chat comes back in the future, which is very exciting. They did mention that they were doing a lot of other measurements to reduce toxicity in a different section. So I'm sure the two are related. If they're able to reduce toxicity, and then they can expect, you know, just the benefits of all chat, which is interacting with the enemy team, making it feel more like a fun game, more like a community thing. You know, the banter back and forth that you sometimes do with the enemy team. That's all in good fun. They're looking forward to implement that, but obviously they want to make sure that it's not used as a tool of toxicity. And it seems like they're putting in a lot of effort towards toxicity in the last few months. Obviously, we have the new like honor reward system. So hopefully it continues in that direction. Obviously, I don't really care either way because I don't use chat. I don't even use team chat. But I know that a lot of you guys love all chat. So hopefully you're going to be pretty hyped about all chat coming back. And last but not least, will Wild Rift be coming to console? So a couple of years ago, Papa Smoothie, who is actually the guy on screen, he's the lead dev of Wild Rift, he tweeted out that it's not a priority for them to bring Wild Rift to console. Even though it was in the original plans, they just kind of decided it's not really a priority. And now in this 5-year anniversary, he pretty much confirmed that it's not going to be coming to console. They don't have any plans. They're not actively working on it. So it likely won't be coming to console for the next few years at the bare minimum, if not likely, will never come to console. So if you're a console gamer out there looking to play Wild Rift, you're gonna have to get a phone, I guess. I mean, who doesn't have a phone? This does kind of suck because of the console release. I was hoping would bring a lot more of the European and North American player base that's not big into mobile gaming, but they all have consoles, right? There's a huge amount of people in the NA and EU that are console gamers, right? They don't play on PC, they don't play on phones, they just play on consoles. So it could definitely bring a lot more of these players in. However, Riot decided that this is not the right approach for them, which is weird because there's no like way to play League of Legends or any Riot game really on a console, but I guess they're not prioritizing console. It could be that console sales are going down as well. I'm surprised they're not at least looking into the Switch and the Switch 2 to run Wild Rift, but I guess no console is no console. And that's pretty much all the news. Obviously, if you guys want to hear all of their questions and answers, you can still see the live video in the official League of Legends Wild Rift YouTube channel. It's like a 2-hour celebration. So feel free to go there if you want to see exactly what they say in details. I'm just giving you the news from what I heard. So thank you so much for watching. Comment down below your thoughts in all of this. Are you excited for All Chat? Are you looking forward to have the same old matchmaking community tournaments clash? Are you looking forward for that? Are you sad that we're not getting a full-fledged esports the way that we had in the past? And let me know what you think about the Wild Rift exclusive champion. I'm really hyped about that. This is probably the coolest change that they've made in a while. And I do want to see if more League of Legends players interact with Wild Rift to play this new champion. So thank you so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed and subscribe for more Wild Rift content.